Sam found the crash site at the edge of her property, as the sun began to set behind the tall pine trees. She lived alone on 20 acres of woodland in rural Maine, a place she had chosen for its quiet and distance from others. The evening had been normal until a bright light streaked across the sky, followed by a sound like thunder that shook the windows of her small farmhouse. She grabbed her flashlight and jacket, then walked toward the smoke rising from the eastern edge of her land. The cool autumn air filled her lungs as she moved through the trees, stepping over fallen branches and pushing aside low-hanging limbs. Her heart beat faster with each step, a mix of fear and curiosity driving her forward. The smoking metal object had carved a path through her pine trees and now sat half-buried in disturbed soil. Trees lay broken around it, their trunks snapped like twigs. The object was unlike anything Sam had ever seen. About the size of a small bus, it had a smooth silver surface that seemed to shift color slightly when viewed from different angles. She approached carefully, her boots crunching on broken branches and disturbed earth. The object had strange purple symbols etched along its silver hull, and emitted a soft humming noise that she could feel in her chest more than hear with her ears. The air around it smelled like metal and something sweet she could not name. Sam touched the warm metal surface with her fingertips and jumped back when a section slid open with a soft hiss. Light poured out from inside, a gentle blue glow that lit up the darkening forest around her. She stood frozen, unsure what to do next. Part of her wanted to run back to her house and call someone, the police, the army, anyone. But another part, the stronger part, pushed her to look inside. Inside lay a woman or something that looked almost like one. Her skin was pale blue with faint patterns like constellations. Her hair flowed in silver waves around angular features that were both beautiful and strange. Blood the color of amethysts seeped from a wound on her side, staining the strange fabric of her close-fitting suit. The alien woman opened her eyes. They were yellow with vertical pupils like a cat, glowing slightly in the dim light. She spoke words Sam could not understand, her voice musical and strange, then passed out again, her chest rising and falling in shallow breaths. Sam made a choice that would change everything. She carefully lifted the injured alien and carried her back to the farmhouse. The woman was lighter than she looked, almost weightless in Sam's arms. She laid her on the spare bed and examined the wound. It was deep but seemed clean, a slice about 6 inches long on her left side. Sam applied pressure bandages and hoped alien biology worked somewhat like human. She cleaned the purple blood away with warm water and watched as the skin seemed to try to knit itself together at the edges. For hours, Sam sat beside the bed checking the alien's pulse, faster than human, but steady, and making sure she was breathing comfortably. She had been a nurse before moving to Maine, and those skills came back easily, though she had never expected to use them on someone not from Earth. 3 hours later, the alien woke, her yellow eyes fixed on Sam with intense focus, studying her face with clear intelligence. Sam felt herself being measured, analyzed, understood. "Thank you for saving me." The alien spoke perfect English, her voice melodic with an accent Sam couldn't place. "My name is Lyra." Sam stepped back, surprised. "How can you speak my language?" "Translation implant." Lyra touched her temple where a small silver disc was embedded in her blue skin. "I learn languages through contact. I heard you speaking to yourself as you carried me." Sam nodded, still processing the fact she had an alien in her guest bedroom. "What happened to your ship?" "Shot down." Lyra winced as she tried to sit up. Sam moved quickly to help her, placing pillows behind her back. "My kind is not welcome in this sector. They will come looking for me." "Who will?" "Both my people and yours." Lyra looked grim. "Your government would take me to study. Your military would fear me. My people would punish me for contacting humans. We are forbidden from direct interaction with developing species. Why are you here then?" Sam sat on the edge of the bed, her curiosity overcoming her fear. "I am a scientist. I study developing species." Lyra managed to sit up straighter, her movements graceful despite her injury. "Humans interest me. Your kind is young but full of potential. Most species at your development stage destroy themselves. You have not. Yet." Sam brought Lyra water and food which she accepted gratefully, though she only ate the fruits and vegetables, politely declining the sandwich Sam had made. They talked through the night, Lyra explaining the complex politics of interstellar species while Sam shared stories of human history and culture. Lyra seemed especially interested in art and music, her eyes widening when Sam played recordings of classical music, jazz, and even some pop songs. She moved her long blue fingers to the rhythm, a smile on her face. "My people lost this," she said softly. "We focused so much on technology and power that we forgot beauty." Sam learned that Lyra's species, called the Elan, had been spacefaring for over 10,000 years. They had formed alliances, fought wars, created an empire, and then become isolationists as their population declined and their culture stagnated. Lyra was part of a small group of scientists who believed they needed to learn from younger species to revitalize their civilization. But the leaders fear change, Lyra explained, her yellow eyes sad. They fear what humans might become. Your kind advances quickly, adapts rapidly. In 1,000 years you might surpass us if you survive your current challenges. On the second day, Lyra was strong enough to stand and walk around the house. She marveled at simple things. The wooden furniture, the paper books on Sam's shelves, the plants growing in pots by the windows. She touched everything gently, asking questions about how things were made and why Sam chose to live alone so far from others. "I needed space to think," Sam explained as they sat on the porch watching the sunset. "After my partner died 3 years ago, the city felt too crowded, too loud. Out here I can breathe," Lyra nodded. "Grief is universal, it seems. My people live very long lives, but that only makes loss harder to bear. We have time to form deeper bonds." "How long do your people live?" Sam asked. "About 500 of your years on average." Lyra looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. "I am considered young at 93, Sam laughed. "You look good for your age." Lyra's laugh was like music, bright and clear in the evening air. For a moment, Sam forgot she was talking to someone from another world. It just felt like sitting with a friend, sharing stories as night fell. On the third day, the wound had nearly healed, much faster than any human injury would. Lyra stood by the window looking at the stars, her silver hair catching the moonlight. "They will find me soon," she said without turning. "Both sides?" Sam asked, bringing 2 cups of tea and setting them on the small table. "Yes." Lyra turned to Sam, her yellow eyes serious. "I have a proposal, one that breaks all rules of my people." "What is it?" "I can share knowledge, medicine, technology, theory, things that could help humanity avoid some of the mistakes my people made." Lyra sat down across from Sam. "But in return you must hide me. Help me become human in appearance." Sam considered the implications, wrapping her hands around the warm cup. "That would be helping you spy on humanity." Lyra shook her head, silver hair moving like water. "Not spy, observe, join. You have something my species lost long ago. Something precious." "What?" "Compassion. You found an alien crashed in your forest. Your first instinct was to help, not harm." Lyra placed a blue hand on Sam's. Her skin felt cool and smooth like polished stone. "My people are dying spiritually. We have technology but lost our heart." Sam thought about the offer. Knowledge that could help millions versus the risk of trusting this alien woman. She had always trusted her instincts about people, and those instincts told her Lyra was sincere. "If I help you, what happens? I live as human. Send occasional research updates encrypted through systems your people cannot detect. I help guide your species away from our mistakes and—" Lyra paused, looking down at their hands. "I learn to feel again, to create, to connect." Sam looked at the alien woman. Those yellow eyes held intelligence beyond human, but also something familiar. Hope, loneliness, a desire to belong. "There will be rules," Sam said firmly. Lyra smiled, revealing slightly pointed teeth. Of course, the next day they began planning. Sam drove to the nearest town and bought hair dye, colored contact lenses, makeup, and clothes. She told the curious shop owner that her cousin was coming to stay and had lost her luggage. Back at the farmhouse, they worked together to make Lyra appear more human. The silver hair was dyed a dark auburn. Special contact lenses, expensive ones meant for costumes, covered the yellow cat-like eyes with a warm brown. Makeup softened the 2 sharp angles of her face. Gloves would hide her hands when needed, and the strange patterns on her skin could be explained as unusual tattoos. They practiced walking, talking, and human mannerisms. Lyra was a quick learner, but some things confused her. She did not understand sarcasm at first. She stood too still when thinking. She forgot to blink enough. "Humans fidget," Sam explained, showing how people shift their weight, touch their hair, blink, and make small movements constantly. "Try to move more." Lyra practiced until she could pass as an unusual but human woman. They created a story. She was Sam's cousin from the West Coast, staying after a bad breakup. Her unusual appearance was explained as a fashion thing, and her occasional strange questions as her being a bit of an academic. While they worked on Lyra's disguise, Sam also dealt with the crashed ship. Using Lyra's instructions, she found a way to activate a self-burial protocol. The ship sank deeper into the earth, covering itself with soil and sprouting fast-growing plants over the disturbed ground. Within days, it looked like nothing had ever crashed there. 1 week later, a woman with unusual pale skin and auburn hair moved into Sam's guest house. Her eyes, hidden behind special contacts, looked human enough. Her slightly angular features passed for human with makeup. No one would guess she came from a star system hundreds of light years away. Sam introduced Lyra to her few friends and neighbors as her cousin Lisa, who needed some time away from city life. People were curious but respectful of the newcomer's privacy. Rural Maine wasn't the kind of place where people pried too much into others' business. Lyra began to share knowledge with Sam, not all at once, and not the dangerous kinds of technology that humans weren't ready for, but medical knowledge that could save lives. Sam had connections from her nursing days and began to introduce these ideas as theoretical concepts to former colleagues who worked in research: a new treatment for nerve damage, an improved method for early cancer detection, a more effective approach to pain management without addictive substances, ideas that seemed to come from connecting existing human knowledge in new ways, not alien technology that would raise questions. As the weeks passed, Lyra learned more about being human. She discovered she loved music and could play any instrument after hearing it just once. She had a talent for languages beyond her translation implant, and began to learn French and Spanish from books Sam brought her. She gardened with a natural skill that made plants flourish. They settled into a routine. Mornings were spent with Sam teaching Lyra about human culture, history, and behavior. Afternoons, Lyra would share knowledge from her civilization, carefully chosen to help without disrupting human development too quickly. Evenings, they would cook together, listen to music, and watch the stars. "Do you miss your home?" Sam asked one night as they sat on the porch, wrapped in blankets against the autumn chill. Lyra was quiet for a long moment. "I miss what it was, what it could be again, not what it became." She pointed to a faint star. "It's there, though you can't see it without a powerful telescope. My people have lived so long that we stopped looking forward. We only look back. Is that why you came here? To look forward?" "Yes," Lyra smiled. "Humans dream. You imagine futures and then create them. My people once did the same. Their peaceful arrangement worked better than either expected." Lyra provided knowledge that Sam, using her connections as a former nurse, introduced as breakthroughs in research. Sam protected Lyra's secret and helped her experience human life. Together, they planted a large garden that yielded more vegetables than seemed possible for Maine's climate. They renovated the guest house, making it a proper home for Lyra. They hiked through the forest, Lyra identifying plants that had properties humans had not yet discovered. Lyra set up a small observatory in the guest house attic, using parts she ordered online with Sam's help. She tracked the movements of distant ships, always alert for signs that either her people or Earth authorities had detected her presence. 4 months after the crash, Sam noticed Lyra seemed worried. She spent more time at her observatory checking the skies with growing concern. "What's wrong?" Sam asked one morning when she found Lyra still awake, staring through her telescope. "A ship passed near Earth yesterday. Alon design." Lyra's face was tense. They did not stop, but they were scanning, looking. "For you?" "Possibly. Or just routine surveillance." Lyra turned from the telescope. "We should prepare, just in case." They spent the next weeks creating contingency plans. Lyra showed Sam how to use some of the devices she had salvaged from her ship. A communication tool, a small medical kit with incredible healing properties, and a data crystal containing information about various species and technologies. "If we are separated," Lyra explained, showing Sam how to access the crystal's data, "this will help you understand what might come next. For you, for Earth." Sam felt a growing dread. The peaceful life they had built seemed suddenly fragile. She had come to care deeply for Lyra, whose curiosity and wonder at human life had brought joy back to Sam's days after years of grief and solitude. 6 months after the crash, Sam woke to the sound of helicopters, military helicopters, The rhythmic thump of their blades cut through the early morning quiet, growing louder by the second. She jumped from her bed and looked out the window. 3 black helicopters were approaching from the south, flying low over the treetops. She grabbed her phone and ran to the guest house. Lyra was already outside, looking up at the sky with a grim expression. "They found us," Lyra said as Sam reached her. "I must leave." "Who? The military?" Sam looked back at the approaching helicopters. "How did they find you?" "Not just your people." Lyra pointed to the northern sky. "Look." Above the helicopters, a distortion appeared in the sky, a shimmer that grew into a massive oval, like heat rising from pavement but vertical and growing. Within the distortion, stars seemed to bend and shift. "My people," Lyra looked sad. "They will take me back and punish me for caring about humans, for caring about you." The helicopters landed in the large field beside Sam's house. Men in black uniforms jumped out carrying weapons. They spread out, moving toward both houses with practiced precision. "We need to run." Sam grabbed Lyra's arm. "I have a car hidden in the old barn. We can escape through the back forest road." Lyra shook her head. "No, it's time to face this." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small crystal device, pressing it into Sam's hand. "Everything I know. Everything that could help humanity. Everything that could harm it. The choice to use it is yours." The device felt warm in Sam's palm, pulsing slightly like a heartbeat. "I can't let them take you. You can't stop them." Either side. Lyra's eyes, now without the contacts, glowed yellow in the morning light. "But you can speak for humanity. Show them what I've seen in you. In all of you." The door to Sam's house burst open. Men with weapons entered, their faces hidden behind tactical gear. Sam recognized government insignia on their uniforms. More agents surrounded the guest house, weapons raised. "Federal agents? Hands where we can see them," a voice called through a loudspeaker. At the same moment, the distortion in the sky opened fully. A ship emerged, sleek and silver like Lyra's crashed vessel, but much larger. It hovered silently above the field, casting a shadow over the entire property. The military helicopters seemed tiny beside it. Lyra stepped forward, placing herself between Sam and the federal agents. "I am the one you seek," she called out. "This human has done nothing wrong." She showed compassion to a stranger. "Is that a crime on Earth?" The agents hesitated, clearly not expecting the alien to address them directly. Their weapons remained raised, but no one fired. A beam of blue light shot down from the hovering ship, creating a circle of intense brightness on the ground between the houses. Within the circle, 3 figures appeared. They looked similar to Lyra, but taller, their skin darker blue, their silver hair elaborately styled. They wore form-fitting suits with symbols that matched those on Lyra's crashed ship. "Researcher Lyra," one of them spoke, their voice somehow reaching everyone despite not shouting. "You have violated the non-interference protocols. You have exposed yourself to a pre-contact species. You will return for judgment." The federal agents were now caught between 2 forces they didn't understand. Some pointed their weapons at the new aliens, others remained focused on Lyra and Sam. "Stand down," a new voice called. A woman in a dark suit pushed through the line of agents. Unlike the others, she wore no tactical gear, just an ordinary business suit. "I am Director Kate Wilson, Special Projects Division. We are not here to start an interstellar incident." She approached the circle of light where the 3 aliens stood, her steps careful but not fearful. "We detected the crash 6 months ago but took time to observe before acting. We know researcher Lyra has violated your protocols, but she has caused no harm here." The lead alien looked at Director Wilson with an unreadable expression. "This matter is not for humans to decide." "Perhaps not," Wilson agreed. "But it is happening on Earth soil. And from what we've observed, valuable cultural exchange has occurred. Would it not be useful to continue this exchange under more controlled circumstances?" Sam watched this exchange with growing hope. She hadn't expected anyone from Earth's government to advocate for Lyra. She stepped forward to stand beside her friend. "Lyra has shown me wonders," Sam said, her voice strong despite her fear. "But more importantly, she has shown me that different worlds can find common ground. She came seeking knowledge but found connection. Isn't that worth preserving?" The 3 aliens conferred among themselves in a language Sam couldn't understand. Their gestures were minimal, their faces controlled, but there seemed to be disagreement among them. Finally, the leader turned back to face them all. "The non-interference protocols exist for a reason. Premature contact has destroyed developing civilizations before. We cannot risk." With respect, Lyra interrupted, something that seemed to shock her fellow aliens. Humanity is ready for limited contact. Not full integration into the galactic community, perhaps, but awareness that they are not alone. Their development is unique. Their compassion could teach us much. Director Wilson nodded. We propose a controlled exchange program, limited technology sharing, cultural ambassadors, a step toward eventual formal relations. The lead alien's expression remained neutral. You propose changing thousands of years of policy based on one unauthorized contact? I propose recognizing when a policy has outlived its purpose, Lyra said. Our civilization stagnates while we watch others from afar. We have forgotten how to learn from those different from us. Sam held her breath. The crystal device in her palm seemed to pulse faster, as if responding to the tension in the air. Around them, federal agents maintained their positions, but their attention was fully on the conversation happening in the circle of light. After what seemed like an eternity, the lead alien spoke again. Researcher Lyra will return with us for debriefing. The human Sam will accompany her as Earth's first official representative to the Alon. Sam's heart leaped. Me, but I'm not a diplomat or scientist. I'm just a nurse. You are the human who showed kindness to one not of your world, the alien said. That makes you qualified in ways no diplomat could match. Director Wilson stepped closer to Sam. This is unexpected, but potentially groundbreaking. You would be setting precedent for all future human-alien relations. She lowered her voice. You don't have to do this. We can negotiate other terms. Sam looked at Lyra, whose yellow eyes showed a mix of hope and worry. Then she looked at the crystal in her hand, containing knowledge that could change human history. Finally, she looked at her small farmhouse in the forest beyond, the quiet life she had built after losing so much. If I go, Sam asked the lead alien, can I return to Earth? Yes, this would be an exchange, not permanent relocation. 6 of your months with us, then return. Further exchanges would be negotiated after assessment. Sam took a deep breath. Then I accept. The next few hours passed in a blur. Sam was given time to pack essential items while government agents secured the area and established communication protocols with the Elon ship. Lyra helped her choose what to bring, explaining what would be most useful and what would be provided. Are you in trouble? Sam asked quietly as they packed. Will they punish you when we get there? Lyra's expression was complex. I broke our highest law, but by doing so I may have initiated a change my people desperately need. The outcome is uncertain. I'm scared, Sam admitted, folding a sweater into her bag. The reality of what she had agreed to was sinking in. She would be the first human to leave Earth on an alien ship, to visit another civilization among the stars. Lyra touched her arm gently. Fear is appropriate when facing the unknown. But remember, I was afraid when I crashed here and you showed me kindness. I will do the same for you among my people. The Elon ship was like nothing Sam could have imagined. From the outside it appeared sleek and simple, but inside was a vast space that seemed larger than should be possible. Corridors branched in all directions, their walls a pearly white material that glowed softly, eliminating the need for separate lighting. Dimensional folding, Lyra explained as she led Sam through the ship. The interior exists partially in another space. It allows for greater volume without increasing the external size. Sam tried to process this as she followed Lyra, aware of the curious glances from other Elon they passed. All had the same blue skin and silver hair as Lyra, though with variations in shade and style. They wore similar, close-fitting suits with different symbolic patterns that Sam guessed indicated rank or function. They arrived at a circular room with a large window showing Earth growing smaller as they departed. Sam stood transfixed by the sight of her home planet, blue and green and wrapped in clouds now visible in its entirety. It's beautiful, she whispered. Yes, Lyra agreed, standing beside her. Every living world has its own beauty, but Earth has a particular vibrancy. Perhaps because of its diversity of ecosystems. A chime sounded and 3 Elon entered the room. Sam recognized one as the leader who had spoken on Earth. Up close, she could see he was older than Lyra, with deeper blue skin and lines around his eyes. I am Elder Talon, he introduced himself, Chief Science Coordinator of the Observation Fleet. These are my colleagues, Navigator Mira and Cultural Specialist Vex. Sam nodded politely. Thank you for allowing me to come. I hope I can represent Earth well. That remains to be seen, Elder Talon said without warmth. This unprecedented situation is not one I would have chosen. However, since researcher Lyra forced our hand, we will make the most of it. Lyra stood straighter. Elder, Sam saved my life and kept my presence secret for 6 months. She has proven herself trustworthy and insightful. And yet you revealed advanced knowledge to her, Elder Talon countered. Knowledge her species may not be ready to handle. Carefully selected knowledge, Lyra said. Medical advancements they were close to discovering anyway. Nothing that would disrupt their development. The cultural specialist Vex stepped forward. Unlike the elder, his expression seemed more curious than disapproving. We are eager to learn from you, Sam of Earth. Your species has been of particular interest to our cultural researchers. Your development path has been unusual. How so? Sam asked. Most technological species advance in predictable patterns, Vex explained. But humans have developed unevenly. Your art and emotional expression advanced alongside your technology, rather than being set aside for efficiency. You value individual experience over collective harmony, yet still form complex societies. Sam wasn't sure if this was a compliment or criticism. We're complicated, I guess. This earned her a smile from Navigator Mira, whose features were softer than the others. Indeed, which makes you fascinating to study, and potentially dangerous if introduced to galactic society too soon, Elder Talon added. The conversation continued as they traveled through space at speeds Sam couldn't comprehend. She learned that they would reach the Eilon home system in 3 Earth days, though the distance was hundreds of light years. The ship used something called fold space propulsion that Lyra tried to explain, but the concepts were beyond Sam's understanding. During those 3 days, Sam was given quarters near Lyra's, a comfortable room with furnishings that adjusted to her preferences. The food was strange but not unpleasant, created by synthesizers that could approximate Earth cuisine based on data from Lyra's observations. Cultural specialist Vex spent hours each day interviewing Sam about human society, particularly interested in art, music, and family structures. Sam did her best to explain everything from baseball to birthday parties, from democracy to dating apps. Your species places such emphasis on finding an ideal mate, Vex noted. Is this because of your short lifespans? Maybe partly, Sam said. But I think it's also because we're social creatures. Most of us don't want to be alone. And you? You lived alone in the forest. Was that not by choice? Sam thought about her life before Lyra crashed into it. It was by choice, but not because I wanted to be alone forever. I needed time to heal after losing someone important to me. Vex's expression softened. Grief is a concept we understand well. With our long lives come many losses. Meanwhile, Navigator Mira showed Sam the ship's systems, explaining how they charted courses through fold space and communicated across vast distances. She seemed genuinely eager to share knowledge, unlike Elder Talon, who maintained his distance and skepticism. Why is the Elder so against this exchange? Sam asked Lyra on their second night, as they sat in Lyra's quarters reviewing what would happen when they reached the Elon homeworld. Lyra sighed. Talon lost his life mate during our last contact with a developing species. The Norvari seemed peaceful, but had hidden aggressive tendencies. When relations were established, they used the opportunity to steal technology and attacked several worlds before they were contained. That's terrible, Sam said. But humans aren't Norvari. No. But the experience left its mark on our policies and on Talon personally. He led the movement to establish the non-interference protocols. On the 3rd day, Sam was called to a meeting with all 3 leaders and Lyra. They sat around a table that displayed 3-dimensional images as they spoke, showing maps and data. We approached the Elon system, Elder Talon began. Before we arrive, you must understand what will happen. Researcher Lyra will face a formal review for her violations of protocol. You will be presented to the High Council as an unexpected guest. They will determine the exact nature of this exchange going forward. Will Lyra be punished? Sam asked directly. The 3 Elon exchanged glances. That depends on the Council's judgment, Talon said finally. And on what they learn from you. Sam felt a chill. From me? You are the result of Lyra's breach of protocol, Navigator Mira explained more gently. How you present yourself, how you represent humanity, will influence their decision about both Lyra's actions and future human-Elon relations. No pressure, Sam muttered, earning a small smile from Lyra. Just be yourself. Lyra said quietly. Show them the compassion and curiosity that you showed me. The Alon home system consisted of 2 suns and 12 planets, their homeworld being the 4th from the center. As they approached, Sam saw a planet slightly larger than Earth, with deep blue oceans and land masses in shades of purple and silver rather than green. The vegetation contains different pigments than Earth plants, Lyra explained as they stood at the viewing window. Our atmosphere filters light differently. The ship descended toward a city that sprawled across a coastal region. Unlike human cities with their grids and right angles, the Alon city flowed in curves and spirals, buildings rising in graceful arcs that seemed to defy gravity. Everything gleamed in shades of white, silver, and pale blue. They landed on a platform extending from a tall spire in the center of the city. Sam's heart raced as the ship settled and preparations were made for disembarking. This was it. She was about to become the first human to set foot on an alien world. Ready? Lyra asked, standing beside her at the exit chamber. Sam took a deep breath. As ready as I'll ever be. The door opened and bright light flooded in. Sam squinted against the glare, then stepped forward beside Lyra. The air that hit her face was cool and smelled faintly sweet, like the air around Lyra's crashed ship but stronger. The gravity felt slightly heavier than Earth's, making her movements feel sluggish. A group of Alon waited on the platform, dressed in more elaborate versions of the suits Sam had seen on the ship. Their silver hair was adorned with small crystalline ornaments that caught the light of the twin suns overhead. The High Council representatives, Lyra whispered to Sam. Remember, speak honestly. They can sense deception. Sam nodded, straightening her shoulders. She had come too far to falter now. She thought about everything that had led to this moment. Finding Lyra injured, nursing her back to health, learning about the stars and the civilizations they held. She thought about what this could mean for humanity. Not just advanced knowledge, but a place among the stars. A future beyond their single fragile world. Elder Talon stepped forward to address the waiting council members. Honored ones, I present researcher Lyra, returned from unauthorized contact with Earth. And with her, the human called Sam, who now stands as the first of her kind to visit our world. All eyes turned to Sam. The moment of first contact had arrived. The High Council chamber was a vast circular room with walls that seemed to be made of living crystal. They shifted colors subtly, currently a calm blue that reminded Sam of Earth's oceans. 7 Alon sat in a semicircle on elevated seats, their formal attire more elaborate than any Sam had seen before, with intricate patterns that glowed with inner light. Sam stood beside Lyra in the center of the chamber, aware of the weight of the moment. Behind them, a small audience of Alon scientists, cultural specialists and security personnel watched with expressions ranging from curiosity to disapproval. Researcher Lyra, spoke the Central Council member, an elderly female with deep blue skin and eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. You stand accused of violating our most sacred law. The non-interference protocols were established to protect both developing species and ourselves. What say you to these charges? Lyra stood tall, her voice clear and unwavering. High Elder Selene, I acknowledge my violation of the protocols. My ship was damaged during a solar flare study, forcing an emergency landing on Earth. Once there, I chose to observe directly rather than calling for immediate extraction. And why did you make this choice? Asked another council member. Because our remote observations have been insufficient. Humanity stands at a crucial juncture in their development. They possess technology that could destroy their world, yet also the creativity to solve problems in ways we have forgotten. I believe direct observation would provide insights our distant monitoring could not. High Elder Selene turned her gaze to Sam. And you, human. You found an alien being and chose to help rather than fear. Why? Sam took a deep breath. Where I come from, helping someone in need isn't extraordinary. It's expected. Lyra was injured. I'm a nurse. Helping the injured is what I do. Even when that being is clearly not of your world? Pressed another council member. Most species react with fear or aggression to the unknown. I was afraid, Sam admitted. But fear doesn't have to control our actions. Curiosity and compassion can be stronger. This caused a murmur among the watching Alon. The council members exchanged glances, something passing between them that Sam couldn't interpret. Tell us, human Sam, said High Elder Selene. What do you believe would happen if your world learned of our existence today? Not through careful diplomatic channels, but suddenly and without preparation? Sam considered the question carefully. Some would react with fear, yes. Others with wonder. Our governments would scramble for advantage. Our religions would face questions. But ultimately, I believe knowing we're not alone would unite us more than divide us. The petty differences that separate humans would seem smaller against the backdrop of a galaxy filled with other intelligent life. A hopeful assessment, said a younger council member with skepticism in his voice. Yet your species still wages war against itself, still depletes your planet's resources for short-term gain, still divides itself by arbitrary boundaries and beliefs. We're young, Sam acknowledged. We make mistakes, but we learn from them. Every generation does better than the one before. We're trying. The council deliberated among themselves for several minutes, speaking in their native language, which Sam's translation device couldn't fully capture. Finally, High Elder Celine addressed them again. Researcher Lyra, your actions, while in violation of our protocols, appear to have been taken with genuine scientific purpose. The human Sam has demonstrated qualities that suggest her species may indeed be ready for limited contact. Sam felt hope rising in her chest. However, the High Elder continued, this decision cannot be made based on a single human's qualities. We require more information. Therefore, we propose an extension of this unexpected exchange. She gestured, and a three-dimensional projection appeared in the center of the room, showing Earth and several Alon ships in orbit around it. We will establish a small observation post in Earth orbit. A delegation of cultural specialists will make formal contact with Earth's governments, proposing a limited exchange program. Researcher Lyra will serve as liaison, having already established rapport with humans. The projection changed to show Sam's property in Maine, then zoomed out to show surrounding areas. The human Sam will return to Earth as our first official contact point. Her home will serve as a neutral meeting ground for initial exchanges, away from the political complexities of your major population centers. Sam blinked in surprise. My farm? You want to use my farm as an alien embassy? This drew something like laughter from some of the watching Alon, quickly stifled. The High Elder's expression remained serious. It provides an ideal isolated location for controlled interactions. Your government representatives have already secured the surrounding area following the incident of our arrival. With your permission, we would expand these facilities for proper cultural and scientific exchange. Sam thought about her quiet life in the woods, now forever changed. I would be honored. But what about Lyra? She won't be punished? High Elder Celine's expression softened slightly. Researcher Lyra's violation of protocols will be noted in her record. However, her new assignment as liaison is both a responsibility and an opportunity. Her unique experience with your species makes her invaluable to this new phase of relations. Relief washed over Sam. She looked at Lyra, who gave her a small, grateful smile. The next week was a whirlwind of preparations. Sam was given tours of the Elon capital city, always accompanied by cultural specialist Vex who explained their society, technology, and history. She learned that the Elon had nearly destroyed themselves 10,000 years ago in a civil war that devastated their planet. Their current peaceful, technologically advanced civilization had risen from those ashes, with strict protocols to prevent such destruction from ever happening again. We became cautious, Vex explained as they walked through gardens where plants responded to their presence, blooming and changing colors as they passed, perhaps too cautious. Our population has been stable for millennia, neither growing nor declining significantly. We explore, we observe, but we rarely engage directly. That sounds lonely, Sam said. Vex looked at her with surprise. An interesting perspective. We have not thought of it as loneliness, but rather as prudence. Sam was provided with gifts to take back to Earth, cultural artifacts, art pieces, and most importantly, knowledge. The Elon Council approved sharing certain medical and environmental technologies that would help humanity without disrupting their natural development. Clean energy systems, medical treatments for diseases that still plagued Earth, methods for removing pollution from oceans and atmosphere. These gifts come with responsibility, Elder Talon told her during their final meeting. How your leaders use them will influence our ongoing relations. Sam nodded, feeling the weight of her unexpected role as ambassador. I'll make sure they understand. The day before their scheduled return to Earth, Lyra took Sam to a high tower overlooking the Alon capital. The twin suns were setting, casting the city in golden light that reflected off the crystalline buildings in rainbow patterns. "Are you ready to go home?" Lyra asked. "Yes," Sam said honestly. "This has been amazing, but Earth is still home. It will be different now. Your life, your world, nothing will be the same after first contact," Sam smiled. "Change isn't always bad. Sometimes it's exactly what we need." Lyra reached out and took Sam's hand, her blue fingers intertwining with Sam's pink ones. "Thank you. For saving me that day. For showing my people that humans are ready for the stars." The return journey to Earth took another 3 days. This time, Sam was not the only human aboard. Director Kate Wilson had been invited to accompany them back, along with a small team of scientists and diplomats who had been briefed on the Alon proposal for exchange. As Earth grew larger in the viewing window, Sam felt a mix of emotions. Excitement to be home, pride in what she had helped accomplish, nervousness about the responsibilities ahead. The ship entered Earth's atmosphere and descended toward Maine, where Sam could see her property had been transformed. The government security perimeter had been expanded. New buildings had been constructed near her farmhouse, though her home itself remained untouched. They landed in the field where helicopters had touched down 6 months ago. This time the reception was planned and peaceful. Government officials waited in a formal line, alongside media representatives who would announce the historic moment to the world. Sam stood at the ship's doorway with Lyra beside her. Below, Earth's first official welcoming committee for alien visitors waited. The moment would be recorded in history books taught to children for generations to come. "Ready?" Lyra asked, echoing their exchange when they had first arrived on the Alon homeworld. Sam took a deep breath and smiled. "As ready as I'll ever be." Together, they stepped forward into the sunlight, beginning the next chapter in humanity's greatest adventure. What had started with a crashed ship and an injured alien woman had become the dawn of a new age for both their peoples. As cameras flashed and officials stepped forward with prepared speeches, Sam thought about how one simple act of compassion had changed everything. She had rescued an injured alien woman, not knowing what a big mistake it would be for anyone who wanted the world to remain the same.